man. Hello guys, and welcome back to another cold episode. On today's episode, we are taking a look at Man, aka Odion, aka Tombkeeper, aka Temple of the Kings, aka Apophis. I don't know, it's a bunch of different names, but I have elected to call it Man because of the man with the mark. That is what this deck centers around to an extent. It mostly centers around actually the Apophis cards, which is why most of the time, at least modern iterations of the deck are called Apophis, at least in Konami's eyes. So there you go. But this deck is rather interesting. It utilizes the Primate cards in a way that a lot of decks do, but in a newer fashion, because we're utilizing normal trap monsters as opposed to normal monsters. So we still generate a whole bunch of advantage off of normal monsters and their existence, but we also are able to utilize effects that most other decks wouldn't be able to due to the fact that we have trap monsters. So that is generally what the deck is aimed to do. On top of this, we also have the ability to play the the psi frames in here, 1 gamma and 2 delta, alongside the driver. And the reason for this is pretty simple, but hey, driver's a normal monster. You get advantage off of having it on the field, and the psi frames are very powerful. Delta, being a spell negate, is very useful. Gamma, oh, just hit my mic. Gamma is also very useful for the monster negate, and you get to punish a whole bunch of people because you use spells and traps a whole bunch, which means you also have the ability to activate these more consistently, which is also very nice. So there you go. We're also, of course, playing the Primate cards, Ether Barrel, Lordly Load, Drill Beam, etc. And the reason for this, actually, that's the entire Primate package. I don't know why I said etc. The reason for this is, again, very simple. We're playing a control deck, and having the ability to put bodies onto the field consistently and add back bodies as well with Ether Barrel means that we are able to more consistently see a lot of these cards, and on top of that, actually have them be useful, right? So we're not trying to do like this big combo. We're trying to slow the pace of the game down and generate more advantage than our opponent over the course of several turns. And what deck is better than that than Primate? So there you go. Then, of course, we are playing the new Temple of the King engine, or deck, I should say, with the 2 Man of Mark, as well as 2 Anubis, and the 3 Treasures of the King, as well as the brick, the Circuit. Man with Mark just searches out the treasures, which is basically Temple of the King on the field. Anubis searches out Man, and Man also has an on-field effect. Same thing with Anubis. They come up occasionally. They're not super useful all the time, but Treasures does have a very useful effect. Actually, it has 2 of them. First effect is when it's activated, you set an Apophis trap, any Apophis trap, from your deck. On top of that, if you have 2 set cards, you get to add a monster. What monster you're adding is Circuit most of the time, and Circuit is going to banish one of your Anubis. This is why we have 2, because if you discard the Anubis, you can't banish it with the effect of the Circuit. So you need that second one, and you can banish it from your hand or from your deck, which is nice, but you banish it in order to special summon it, and then you can, during the main phase, add a Temple of the Kings. Specifically, you're going to be adding this one, or a spell trap that mentions it from your deck to your hand, and then on top of that, it does an additional thing, but it doesn't matter, it's just a guy in addition to the other stuff. But Temple of the Kings just allows you to activate a set trap, or a trap card that was set that turn, right? Which is very useful, because after setting an Apophis trap off of the treasures, you can then use it to get in a free body. On top of that, you are also able to set the Swamp Deity. Now, Swamp Deity is a Omni Negate. It just has to be able to target the card at point of resolution, and it negates up to the number of other continuous trap cards you control, which is pretty solid. So basically, you have an Omni Negate. On top of that, it's not once per turn, so having multiple of this means you have multiple Omni Negates. Again, very useful. We also have Apophis of the Serpent, Apophis the Serpent, which is a new Apophis monster, which on activation summons itself, sets another Apophis trap, except itself, that can be activated that turn. Meaning, if you have this, you basically get a free Omni Negate off of the Swamp Deity. Very useful. However, on top of that, if sent to the graveyard, you can add an embodiment of Apophis, which is the OG embodiment of Apophis, or I should say Apophis card, from your deck to your hand. So, we are also playing this one. It's kind of a brick, but it does come up and it's pretty useful overall. So that is pretty much the idea of the deck. However, because of the nature of this card, you do need an additional set card in order to then search out an additional card. So we're playing a whole bunch of spell traps to specifically allow us to set those additional cards and have use out of them. So instead of playing a bunch of you know, Maxi, Fua, etc. We're instead playing things like the Dominus cards, Dominus Purge, Dominant Songs of the Dominators, Imperm. We're also playing Droplet and Evenly Matched. Realistically, you should be playing 3 Songs of the Dominator because it's just very, very useful, but I only have 2, so we're only going to play 2. Same thing with Droplet. Droplet is also very useful by being able to send cards to the graveyard. There's a lot of cards that you just end up on field, or like end up having on field. So there's that. It can also clog your back row, so being able to send back row to the graveyard is also pretty nice, right? Being able to send something like a Lordly Load or something of that nature, pretty solid. Then we're also playing Called By for obvious reasons. And that's pretty much it for the main deck. As for the extra, the only thing that's really important is Apophis, or Divine Serpent Apophis. This is the new fusion monster. You tribute 2 Apophis monsters in order to special summon it, and then on top of that, it resets your Apophis traps, which is pretty nice. And if a trap card is activated, it gets to special summon, or it gets to destroy a card. It's pretty good. We're playing 2 because it does come up in the grind game. That being said, I've never really needed even 2, but it does come up, right? We also have the new Scorpion of Beast of Circuit. I've never played this card, or I've never summoned this card, I should say. It's not exactly the easiest to summon, so I just don't play it. It does require specifically this guy, which is kind of hard to accomplish, but it's not the hardest. As for the rest of the extra deck, all of these have come up. We have Omega, which just hand loops, right? Paired with the Psyframes, makes sense. We also are playing the Stardust package as well, so that we can go into Baron. Baron is also summonable off of the Swamp Deity and a Trumpeter, so that's why we're also playing this. Yeah, Swamp Deity happens to be a 6, by the way. Oh, also Circuit's a 6, so there's a few ways to summon the Baron. We also are playing Redoer and Dugaris. Redoer is actually very useful in this deck due to the fact that we have some level 4 trap monsters, which means we can use them as material for the Redoer, and then Redoer is a disruption as well. Pretty nice. Doug is just a draw 2, basically. We're also playing Zeus and Typhon. As for the Link monsters, Link Spider, normal monsters, get it off of the field and or get a effect monster onto your field, so that you can go into something like SP or specifically Silo Hat Rat. We're also playing the Lambda. Lambda is very useful with the Psyframes. You can actually make it after going into Dugaris. Dugaris can like draw into one of these guys, and then you can make Lambda and then have a very powerful interaction there. Then we also have the Silo Hat Rabbit as well as SP. Pretty simple here, right? Silo Hat Rabbit able to set Swamp Deity. Then we're also playing Underworld Goddess because I don't know what else to play in here. Realistically, there's a bunch of flex spots, which is pretty nice. So you can play a whole bunch of different things there. But that's it for the deck. Let's hop into the replays to show you how this deck performed. Okay, I did want to show you real quick that I did go like 20-1 with this deck. Actually, it was 18-1, but still. I literally only had 1 loss, and it was to Mitsu. It was to Mitsu. They drew the full Rise Seal engine and then dropped Mitsu on my head after I did everything. And yeah, but that being said, there you go. It wasn't gold, but I still did really well with it. So against rogue decks, very strong deck. All right, so here we are going first, and our hand isn't exactly the strongest, but it does have the Primate stuff, so let's see what we can accomplish here. This game will also show you the power of the grind game for this deck, so let's see what we can accomplish. We do get Ashed on our 1 realistic play, so I do just kind of have to summon the Angel Trumpeter and then set 2 and pass. It's not great, but we do have an Omni Negate. Actually, we have 2 off of the Apophis here. So there's that. They're going to activate their Grass, and I'm going to chain our Omni Negate and our other one as well. The way that this card checks as well is that it just checks at point of resolution how many face-up trap cards or continuous trap cards you have. So this card doesn't have to actually resolve. As long as it's face up, I could have chained this in any way, and the Apophis would still negate. So for example, if I wanted to go Apophis the Serpent and then go Swamp Deity, the Swamp Deity would still negate. That's what I was trying to say there. Anyway, my opponent's going to go for the King's Arc here. They're going to pitch a card and then send Happy. Me seeing that they already had the Kep 7 UF in hand, I was like, okay, doesn't really make sense for me to negate the King's Arc, so I'm just going to allow that to resolve. Out comes Zombie Vamp, and I'm like, okay, that's not good. They're going to go for the Zombie Vamp. I'm not going to allow them to mill cards. I just don't want them to. So I'm going to negate here. Realistically, I should have, on activation of their Field Spell, negated the Field Spell and negated the Zombie Vampire. That's what I should have done. It could have mattered, Anyway, they go for the vampire sucker here with the new fusion, and since the fusion was set to the graveyard, they get to summon out the new Eldritch, the Golden Lord, from their deck, or Mad Golden Lord, I should say. They're gonna walk over a few of the cards here, and I do get to actually add the Apophis here. They're gonna tribute one of their monsters and just steal the Swamp Deity, and then they make Zeus. This is like a really bad play for them. I feel like it's just worse because it gets rid of Kingsark, it gets rid of the Golden Lord. I kind of understand, because they're like, oh, I need to remove their own stuff, might as well make Zeus, but yeah, it's kind of bad here. We do have the second Lordly Load here, so I'm just going to go for the Ether Barrel, and then I'm going to set Drill Beam. I'm like, cool, I'm going to go combat here to attempt to make my own Zeus. They say no. They're going to nuke the field, so I just bounce my guy and set in Apophis and just pass the turn here. It's not a whole lot that I can accomplish here, but I do end up drawing, or I do end up attaching a Black Awakening, which kind of sucks for me because I'm giving them a thing, but I do get a draw card, but I draw Driver. So, oops. Oh well. Luckily, I do have Purge here, so I can actually purge the Horus monster here. And the Redoer's dead now. Can't do anything. But that's fine. They go for the field spell. They actually send it to the graveyard off of the Black Awakening here, because what they sent, instead of sending an Eldritch, they actually send Baylor Draw here off of the field spell. So that kind of sucks here. They are, however, going to activate their field spell to grab a token, which is going to actually cost them, because I do have Evenly Matched in hand, and with Evenly Matched, tokens are they gotta stick around because they cannot be banished face down. So they have to banish everything else, meaning even the Baylor Draw is not able to be summoned. So awesome. At this point, I basically have the game under control. And you might be like, well, you have no cards. Wrong. Ether Barrel in the grave with a normal monster. We're off to the races. On top of that, I draw Anubis, which is a crazy card. However, Anubis just grabs another normal summon, and I really want to normal summon the Ether Barrel here. So we're going to normal summon the Ether Barrel so that I can set the Drill Beam, specifically. But now out comes Big Guy. Fantastic. I love Big Guy. Yeah, if you have 3 traps and or Temple of the King / no, that's it. If you have Temple of the King or traps in your grave, you can shuffle back 2 of them in order to special summon this guy. It's very weird wording, but there you go. We do get to go for the Lordly Load to grab the Ether Barrel here, and then we get to go for the Silo Hat Rat. We get to special summon out set our Apophis, and then guess what? Anubis is not once per turn, so guess what? We still can do it again. So I shuffle back pretty much everything and summon out our guy, and then out comes another Angel Trumpeter, and this is where the Primate cards are so useful, right? We just generated like 4 cards off of that one off of Ether Barrel coming back to our hand, so it's very, very advantageous for us to have those additional bodies and to just like put up, even just like putting up blockers is very useful there. So yeah, 2 trap decks, I ended up coming out on top. Alrighty, so here we are once again going first, and once again we kind of drew 2 normal summons in the Lordly Load as well as the Man. So we're just going to normal summon Man here. It is the most advantageous for us. We're going to go Treasure of the King for the Apophis of the Serpent, set an additional card, and then grab up the Circuit. Circuit is going to special summon itself. We're going to grab up the OG Temple of the Kings, which now allows us to activate our Serpent. Serpent is going to set Deity, and then we get to go into Doug. Doug is going to draw us 2 cards. Let's see what we draw. Pretty good. I pitched the Evenly Matched here, and then go for the Silo Hat Rat. We're going to set an additional card here. We're going to set that additional Apophis, and then set 1 more, happening to be the Droplet. Now, realistically, I didn't need to set the Apophis here. I should have gone for, like, SP or something else of that nature. I think SP probably would have been a better option here, but alas, it's not the end of the world. It just does clog my zones a bit, which is a bit of an issue. That being said, we do end up going for the pop off of the Silo Hat Rat. My opponent goes for a triple attack, and I just go for the Swamp Deity. They go for Max C here, which kind of sucks, but not that big of a deal. We're just going to negate the triple attack. And then out comes Tenpai. I don't know what we're playing, Millennium Tenpai. I don't know what's going on here. They do grab the Quick Play spell, though, so I'm like, oh, okay. I don't have to deal with the field spell, right? I could have negated this as well. I elected not to because I'm like, okay, if they have the Quick Play, right, I would have preferred negating that, right? But I also need to be wary of the field spell. So there's that. Also, notably, Swamp Deity, as well as the regular Apophis, can only be activated in the main phase. That's why we're doing this way. However, I have Droplet. So they're going to activate their effects, and I'm like, no. I'm going to send some cards to the graveyard, negate their effects. They're going to crash. Now, they can't be destroyed because of the fact that Silo Hat Rat does say, If this card battles, neither are destroyed by that battle. So, SpaghettiOs, it's fine. Out comes Bident Dragon. They're going to activate the effect. I'm going to elect to negate so that I don't have to deal with an additional guy. Yes, again, to draw. Out comes Cash. What is happening here? They banish Theosis and they mill me for some reason. I don't know what's going on there, but okay. Draw phase is skipped. Not that big of a deal because we can immediately go into our new fusion. The fusion here is going to set 3 of our named cards. They're going to attempt to call by man, I guess. Okay, sure. I set 3 here, and now we get to grab the Anubis here. Anubis is then going to shuffle back 2 in order to special summon itself. Then we get to activate our Apophis and go for the... sorry, we go Serpent here, which then allows us to pop a card. We're going to pop the Bident, or the Bident. But we also now have the ability to summon out the Swamp Deity. This one was summoned set off of the Serpent, which means it can be activated that turn. And then we go into Redoer, so that we have the ability to shuffle away the Bident Dragon. That is going to summon itself. So, there we go. We just go to combat here, walk over a whole bunch. Out comes the Bident Dragon, and they elect to pop one of my spell traps. Now, if you don't know, Anubis has another effect, which says if a spell trap you control is destroyed by card effect, you can target a card your opponent controls and destroy it. So, them destroying my own field spell means that away goes their guy. So I didn't even need the Redoer because they elected to actually use the second effect to destroy one of my spell traps. Didn't really matter. They were dead no matter what there. There's like nothing that they can do from that position. So, yeah, good game. Alrighty, here we are going first, and okay, I bricked. I literally have nothing I can do here. Okay, I've got we're gonna set to pass the turn. Surely this goes well. My opponent's gonna activate Lordly Load. No, they're not. Lordly Load is powerful. I just don't want that at all in any capacity. Anyway, this is Blue Eyes, so out comes the guy, because of course they have it. Yeah, not looking good for me. This game should be over, right? Let's see how I get out of this, because obviously you're watching this, that means I won. Right, I don't show you losses, right? That's just how this goes. They're going to go for the Wishes, out comes the Roar. They're going to go for the Sage here. Out comes Mausoleum for the Sage. Out comes Maiden, yada, 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 yada. Sure. Out comes Blue Eyes. Lightstorm, what the hell is Lightstorm doing here? I'm going to say no to that. I'm just going to negate the field here. I'm like, okay, sure. They elect to boost here, and they're going to go combat. I'm actually going to allow them to walk over the field here, and I keep the Evenly in hand, and the reason for this, you will see, yeah, it's because I don't know if they're going to, like, set a card or anything of that nature. I draw Ether Barrel. Fantastic draw. We're just going to go to combat here. We're going to deal with the field. They bounce back the field spell. I'm like, okay, that kind of sucked. Not really a whole lot I could have done about that, though. Out comes the Magnemite, and I'm just going to normal summon the Ether Barrel to grab up our Lordly Load. Lordly Load, grab the Drill Beam, and out comes Troll. I'm like, that's totally fine. I wasn't going to do anything with that anyway. We're going to go for the Angel Trumpeter here. I'm going to banish their Continuous Trap, which is great for me. I'm just going to reset that Drill Beam, and then just pass the turn on literally just Drill Beam. They did put back the Light Ray, or Light Storm, whatever it is, the one that pops spell traps. But yeah, I could have gone into an extra deck monster, but Drill Beam I think is a little bit more important than, I don't know, like Redoer or something, because I can't activate any of their effects. Doesn't really make sense. Out comes the Light Storm, and I'm like, sure, okay, obviously that's frustrating, but of course we are going to go for the Drill Beam here to just banish. Hopefully they don't have, nope, they have it. Okay, well, that sucks. Wait a second, they didn't activate the effect of their field spell to send a Blue Eyes to target Maiden. Yeah, I think they're only playing 2 Blue Eyes here. So do keep that in mind. Out comes the Blue Eyes monster. Cool, fantastic. Out comes Maiden. Sure, little bit of an issue. They're going to go for Wishes here. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. They don't have anything to set off of the Tyrant Dragon effect. They don't have a trap card. So they do just walk over the field and then deal a bit of damage. Out comes Spirit Dragon. Spirit Dragon is actually a problem, to be fair, because it's going to cut off our Ether Barrel every turn. I draw Apophis. Sure. Not great. That's all. We're going to go for the Angel Trumpeter, and then I'm just going to make Typhon here. Typhon actually does contest anything that they would realistically summon off of Spirit Dragon, or at least anything meaningful, right? So I'm like, okay, sure. Notably, we can't actually activate the effect of the Typhon, even though I would love to, because Lordly Load does state you cannot activate the effect of special summon monsters on the field the turn you activate that, or sorry, after you activate the effect of the summon. So there we go. Can't activate it. They're once again going to negate the Ether Barrel. I'm like, okay, sure. I'm going to attempt to bounce. Yeah, of course it's imperm. It's always going to be imperm there. So I just have to set an additional card there. And they do, for some reason, I don't know why they do this, but they're like, I'm going to go into Ultimate Spirit Dragon to summon back the Blue Eyes. Realistically, I think they should have just kept the Spirit Dragon on their field to continually remove the Ether Barrel. But I don't know. I guess they don't really have anything here. This does put them back into the game, though, because they can go, you know, Link off for the Link 1, go for the Link 1 into Blue Eyes 2, and then bring back Maiden, and then, you know, they have the ability to, like, walk over this Typhon and make the Synchro. Or they just go combat here. What? Why are we not going into the Link monster? Maybe they only play 2. Yeah, they are, like, completely out of resources. Mind you, this field spell has been, or this continuous trap has been banished, like, the entire time. Yeah, they just don't have anything. That's the thing. They just don't have anything. Realistically, they also should have gone for the Spirit Dragon there, and they elected not to. I don't know why. But yeah, I actually checked their extra deck. I can show you it in a second, but it was not great. All right, so yeah, this was the extra deck. Kind of strange. They were playing 3 Blue Eyes Spirit Dragons and only 2 Spirit with Eyes of Blue, which I just wholeheartedly disagree with. I think you absolutely need 3 of this card. It's very useful, and it comes up a ton, right? Like, the rest of this is fine. I do think this is the biggest mistake, right? I'm also not that big of a fan of Trish, but I mean, what else are you going to play? I actually do like playing a second Tyrant Dragon. It's very useful to play a second Tyrant Dragon. There's not a ton of ways to necessarily equip to get a second Tyrant into rotation, but there are cases where you can, like, fusion summon it or something else of that nature. That being said, again, most of the rest of this stuff is fine. It works, right? But this ended up costing them. Also, just having the True Light banished off of the Drill Beam, very, very important, right? That's one of the reasons why I removed it as quickly as I could, right? It's just very useful. So there you go. All right, we're back with the deck, and honestly, this deck is very fun. That's one of the biggest important factors to this deck. I think it's just a good deck to play. It's very fun, very unique in the way that it plays. It is a more mid-range / control style deck. Oh, my bad. With, you know, the trap variant of it, and kind of like playing more on the opponent's turn than even on your own, right? You even summon more monsters, arguably, on the opponent's turn. So there's that. But you do have the ability to do these, you know, pseudo combos, right? Being able to go into the Silohat Rat, or being able to go into, like, you know, Dugaris and what have you. There's a bunch of different things that you can do with this. The Primate cards are absolutely insane and just way too overtuned. So anything that you can do to facilitate the Primate cards, this is one of the better ways to play the Primate stuff as well. This and, like, Blue Eyes really showcase how powerful the Primate stuff can be. And yeah, this very strong, very powerful deck. Very fun as well. I don't know what else to say. It's just a fun deck. It's super, super interesting in so many different ways. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It has so many different nuances and cool things that it can do. Yeah, just very fun. I enjoy it. That's going to be it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you guys did indeed enjoy it. If you did, I like us very much, so appreciate it. And remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye.